these technologies are new, but not, exceedingly new. They've been around for the last year or so. And one thing that's clear is that the general audience out there sees that there is some value in these AI tools. And everyone is rushing, especially the executive level, how do we unlock that value? But despite that, other than just knowing that there's something they should be doing in AI, there's not a lot of direction out there. And what's an easy place to start? People really struggle with coming to terms with what exactly they should start with. How should they begin with their AI journey? Tech companies with like with a really savvy CTO, they probably have some ideas, or they can quickly identify their pain points. And if they're hobbyists, they've been keeping up with the tools. But for the average company, this is kind of very different. So we're seeing that these AI use cases and these workloads can vary wildly from use case to use case, from company to company. Jerry, how do we kind of see a good way to address that market? Uh, how do we demystify the potential of AI and turn it into more narrow scope, actionable ideas that are, more bite-sized projects to be able to, chew on, rather than just taking on AI as one size fits all problem solver?
So I feel that a lot of it is due to the wide range that AI makes it possible to implement. So the thing is, it's like you're given a wide buffet of choices. Which do you choose? Where do you start from, right? So it's kind of the similar case with AI. There is so much capability or so much that it unleashes. Sometimes it's just becomes a bottleneck in terms of choosing where to start from. Usually, I mean, what I've seen most of the companies do is they start with a simple chatbot. I mean, chatbot is probably the simplest thing that you can implement utilizing AI. The generative capabilities can be utilized for a wide variety of tasks. It can be data integration, it can be data correction, data cleansing, and these are things that are typically the biggest challenges that we have faced earlier. I mean, you would see unstructured data, extracting data from PDFs where you have names in all kinds of order. The first name is reverse or the last name is first, all kinds of combinations. So you can use a lot of different models, data science models, machine learning models to identify the elements and tokens. But in our experience, we have seen that generative AI seems to work a lot better. I mean, it can provide much more accuracy. So it all depends on the use cases and the variety of possibilities that are available. You have to take one step at a time. Think about a small piece. How can AI help here? And then work on iteratively improving that particular functionality. Choosing the right model itself is another challenge. I mean, there are so many different models out there now. So you have to experiment, figure out which works best for the use case that you have, and trying to find the right one that fits your requirement, and then move forward. It should always be, it should not be from the perspective, oh, I have to implement AI in my application or product. It should always be business focused first, figuring out what makes sense from a business perspective rather than just following the hype and the buzzwords.